He's one of the world's most famous writers, and he's in the headlines for one reason or the other. If it's not his books, it's his political opinions and always outspoken and honest comments. Now, his new book, soon to hit the stands, is creating waves. Joining us tonight from New York is Salman Rushdie. Salman, always a pleasure to talk to you. One has heard so much about the book that is about to hit the stands, Luka and the Fire of Life, a sequel to Haroun and the Sea of Stories. Now, going through the manuscript, one of the things that struck me is how the characters in the book, Luka and Haroun, with 18 years apart from them, have this conversation where the younger son is a bit upset that he never got a book of his own. How much of that relationship mirrors the actual relationship between your two sons, Zafar, your elder son, for whom you wrote Haroun and the Sea of Stories, and Luka, which was written for your younger son, Milan?
Well, it's pretty much an exact mirror of their relationship. Milan read Haroun and the Sea of Stories 2 or 3 years ago and really liked it, but he was very well aware that it was written for his older brother. And so ever since then, he's been demanding that I write a book for him too, and that seemed only fair. So in the end, I managed to do it. But the book was very much driven by his desire to have a book of his own as a kind of fairness issue, a kind of equality issue.
And how much of him, in that sense, did you borrow from for the book itself? How much of he was part of your writing process?
Well, quite a lot, actually. I mean, for example, one of the things about Luka in the book is his left-handedness, and Milan is also left-handed, been very emphatically left-handed all his life. And the book talks about how left-handedness is a kind of problem in a right-handed world, but in the end, it becomes very helpful to him in having to overcome the obstacles he has to overcome. So I wanted to make that real-life aspect of him an important part of the book. And there are other details too. For instance, Milan has a dog called Bear. And we have a family joke that when he first got this chocolate Labrador 4 or 5 years ago, I said, well, your next pet should be a bear called Dog. And then every time you say dog, the bear will come. And every time you say bear, the dog will come. And so we've had that kind of joke in the family. And in the novel, of course, that's actually what happens. So again, that derives from real life.
But I'm guessing that Milan doesn't actually have a bear called Dog.
No, he doesn't yet. Although he has a very big stuffed bear, which we have decided to call Dog.
Well, what came first? This idea, did this idea come to him from you, or did this idea of naming the character such come to you from him?
No, I have to say it came from me. But a lot of the story is driven by, in a way, our relationship. For instance, the fact that Rashid is in danger of his life, you know, and that the novel becomes, if you like, an attempt by the child to have to save the father's life. It comes out of the fact that when Milan was born, I was already 50 years old, and I remember thinking that I'm a pretty old father, you know, that when he's 20 years old, I'll already be 70. And the subject of mortality becomes much more important when you have a child at the age of 50 than when you have a child at the age of 25. And so I wanted the book to in some way confront that subject, the subject of the possibility of losing your father, and of course to confront it in a way that is positive and that is done in a kind of, I hope, light-hearted, with a light touch. But nevertheless, the kind of serious heart of the book has to do with that. It has to do with issues. I mean, after all, Luka is trying to steal the fire of life. It's about life and death.